Hello, and welcome to the first episode of the Intentional Sounding Football Podcast. My name is Josh, also known as Broncos SCN on Instagram.
I'm Nick. I'm Finstrike on Instagram.
I'm Jake. I'm Seahawks Storm on Instagram.
Okay, so we're going to be doing our Week 1 game predictions for the 2021 to 2022 NFL season. So let's get right into it. The first game we have is the Dallas Cowboys at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think this will be a good game, but I have the Buccaneers winning at 31-21 because Dak will just be coming back from his injury. So I don't think he'll be fully ready yet. The Cowboys player of the game, I think, will be Amari Cooper. And I think that the Buccaneers player of the game will be Tom Brady. I think he'll just light up that Cowboys defense. So for like 4 touchdowns. So yeah, my score for that game is 31-21. It'll be a good game, but the Bucs will still come out on top.
Okay, so my predictions would probably be it's going to be a close game, but it's going to be a high-scoring game because of that Cowboys offense and that Bucks and the Cowboys offense and the Cowboys defense. So I say it's going to be 42-36 with the Bucks winning it because the Cowboys improved their defense, but it's still not at an average NFL level. For the MVP for the Cowboys, I have Amari Cooper. And for the MVP for the Bucks, I have Tom Brady.
So for this game, the Cowboys-Bucks game, I have the Buccaneers defeating the Cowboys 34-21. I think that this could be a really good game. Because the Buccaneers just came off of a Super Bowl win and they're going to be really hot, and they didn't really lose any of their players, but the Cowboys defense has always struggled and they don't have any good cornerbacks. But what I do think that will keep the Cowboys in this game is the fact that they'll have Dak Prescott back. So I have the MVP for the Cowboys being Dak Prescott. And for the Buccaneers, I have Chris Godwin, just saying the Cowboys have no real cornerbacks.
Okay, so the next game is the Philadelphia Eagles are visiting the Atlanta Falcons. Originally I had Atlanta winning this by like a solid 2 scores at least, but then they traded Julio, so that changes it. But Philadelphia is still trash. I think they're the 3rd worst team in the league after Houston and Detroit. So but Atlanta's pretty bad too. So I have Atlanta winning 24-17. Both Atlanta's a horrible defense, so Philadelphia will be able to score some points. And Philadelphia's defense is okay, but Atlanta still has a good offense even without Julio. They still have Calvin Ridley, Kyle Pitts, Russell Gage, Mike Davis. So I think that they'll do good. I have Philadelphia's player of the game being running back Miles Sanders. I think he would pick up probably somewhere around 100 yards and touchdown or 2 against Atlanta's defense. Atlanta's player of the game for me will be Kyle Pitts because the Eagles do have some good corners. They have Darius Slay, so I think Calvin Ridley will be locked down. So I think, as Kyle Pitts a rookie, so I don't really know to prepare for him. It'll be his first game. So I think since they're not really ready, they don't really know how to prepare for him, that Kyle Pitts will be Atlanta's player of the game. I think he could get, 2 touchdowns that game, at least 1. And, he'll show everyone that he really is as good as everyone thought he was going to be.
So for this game, I'm going to have it as a 33-21 matchup. I don't think this is going to be a very good game. It's probably not going to be that entertaining. But I see that the MVP for the Eagles is going to be Miles Sanders because he's really underrated. And he could probably just run over that Atlanta defense. And then Atlanta's player of the game is probably going to be Calvin Ridley because he's a beast and he's going to break out. He's going to be really good next year. And he's going to be that wide receiver 1. He's going to be reliable.
Okay, so for the Eagles-Falcons game, I have the Eagles defeating the Falcons 17-10. The Eagles are a really interesting team. They have a new head coach. They have a young quarterback on his 2nd year who really didn't get an opportunity to play last season. They drafted a Heisman Trophy winning wide receiver. They have a good running back. Falcons lost their number 1 receiver. I think the Eagles can win this game. I have my player of the game for the Eagles being Devontae Smith. Heisman Trophy winner. I mean, the Falcons really don't have that great of a defense. But then I have the player of the game for the Falcons being Kyle Pitts as the the linebackers for the Eagles who are going to have to guard him are Eric Wilson, Jacoby Stevens. And they don't have great linebackers, so they're not going to – I don't think they can cover the unicorn.
Yeah, that was a good player of the game, Devontae Smith. I didn't really think about that. Who's the Falcons' top corner? I guess AJ Terrell, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be good. That'll probably be a bad game, but it's evenly matched, sort of. Okay, so the third game up is the Pittsburgh Steelers are visiting the Buffalo Bills. Pittsburgh were 11-0 last year, fell to 12-4, and got killed at least in the first half of that wild card round against Cleveland. So they're at a pretty low point right now. Ben Roethlisberger is going to be, I think, around 38 or something like that. I don't think he's going to be that good next year. Their receiving core is okay. They brought back Juju. He's all right. Deontay Johnson, I think, is slightly overrated. Doesn't have good hands at all. Chase Claypool is good, but they have a lot of depth at receiver, but they don't really have any true superstar guys. I think Najee Harris will be good for the Steelers. That'll be his first game. So I think Buffalo's defense is going to get, they're going to do pretty good against Pittsburgh. And while Pittsburgh does have a good defense, I just think Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs and the rest of the Bills' offense will get the best of them. So for those reasons, I have Buffalo coming out on top with the final score of 31-21. Steelers player of the game will be TJ Watt because nothing special on the Bills' offensive line. He'll get a couple of sacks. And I have Buffalo's player of the game being Stephon Diggs because Josh Allen will take a few sacks. But the Steelers really don't have any good corners. They have Joe Hayden and Cameron Sutton, who are both all right. So I think Diggs will do pretty good, continue right from where he left off last season. So I think that the Bills will come out on top of that game.
So my prediction for the Buffalo-Pittsburgh game, it's going to be a kind of close game, but not really. It's 32-22 to be exact. I just think that the Steelers I also think that the Steelers are at a low point, and their defense is the only good thing on their team. But then with that Buffalo offense, I feel like their Buffalo offense is better than that Pittsburgh defense by slightly. So I think that Buffalo will win by at least 2 scores. But so yeah, that's my prediction. And so for the Steelers player of the game, I'd say it'd be TJ Watt, just because, like Josh said, there's nothing special on that offensive line. He's definitely going to get in there and make every play happen. And then for the Buffalo player, I'm going to say Tre'Davious White, mainly because the Steelers wide receiver core is kind of crummy, and he's a great corner. I mean, he's got a lot of talent, and he's going to lock down some of those mediocre wide receivers. So that's what I see coming out of that game with Buffalo winning.
So for the Buffalo Pittsburgh game, I have the Steelers losing to the Bills. Well, I have the Bills winning 35-17. Okay, Steelers defense is good. Everybody knows that. Their pass rush is really good. Bills O-line isn't that great. Their secondary is fine. The Bills are such a good team. Josh Allen shocked everybody last. I don't think anybody would have thought Josh Allen would have been a MVP candidate by the end of the year and make it into the finals for the MVP. Stephon Diggs, my bad, had an absolutely breakout year. He was the second best receiver in the NFL last year. And so for my player of the games, I have Cameron Hayward getting player of the game for the Steelers. Sure, TJ Watt, he's probably the best second best pass rusher in the NFL. But they have Darrell Williams on the O-line, and he'll stop T.J. Watt pretty well because he's a pretty big boy, and T.J. Watt's pretty small. So I have Cameron Hayward going against John Felicio, and I have him winning that battle. And so then for my Bills, I have Cole Beasley getting player of the game because they got rid of their nickel corner in Steven Nelson, and I don't know who their nickel corner is, so I got Cole Beasley winning that fight.
The Steelers just kind of suck. I think they're just stuck in the season. So you think Diggs was the second best receiver last year?
Absolutely.
You take him over Devontae
Absolutely.
or
he is that guy.
You take him over Hopkins? Okay, maybe last year actually. So you have a point. Last year he may have been
that guy. Diggs is just not that guy. You're not that guy now. Not that guy.
All right, next game we have the Minnesota Vikings going on the road to the Cincinnati Bengals. I do
Not
think the
that
Bengals will be pretty good next year. Actually, I think they'll be around the between 7 and 10 wins. I could see them being in the 7 to 10 win range. Probably 7 to 9. I think at most they get 9 wins. Now their offensive line kind of sucks. All right, everyone got mad they drafted Jamar Chase over Penei Sewell, but their tackles are fine. It's the interior line that's the problem. They might get a veteran. They might sign like a veteran late. I know you're shocked by that.
7-10.
No, I said 7 to 10 wins.
I have them going 3-14.
Nah.
Yeah, same. All right.
I think the Bengals
3-14.
Hold on.
They're not that bad, pal.
they have Joe Burrow, all right, who I think he'll be
Overrated.
really coming back from his injury. He was playing pretty good before his injury. Joe Mixon, who can never stay healthy because his line.
Yeah.
But again, if they have if their line shows up, this is if their line decides to play good. They have three. I think they have 3 good receivers now. Their tight end is a nobody. But
CJ Uzuma.
CJ Uzo.
They have no defense, and they can't get their offense going without a
Their
line.
secondary is all right. They added
Jesse
They had
Bates.
Bates.
They added
Other than
Steven
that-
Nelson. They added Steven Nelson and Chidobe Awuzie, however you say his name. They lost William Jackson. They did lose Carl Lawson, but they still have DJ Reader. So I think they added Trey Hendrickson.
He's over.
So-
Isn't DJ Rader on the Texans?
He was not last year, the year before that. Last year was first year on
Right.
the Bengals. So anyways, and then they have Jesse Bates and Von Bell. So I think their secondary is about average. Their linebacking core is kind of weak. Their defensive line is a little bit under average. So their defense is like, in the 22nd to 20th best range. But I think their offense, if their line plays even average, can be a top 12 offense in the league with all the weapons they have. That being said, all that Bengals talk, just to say Minnesota's winning this matchup. I have them winning 27-16 because, Joe Burrow's injury is horrible, and he's just coming back from that. And Minnesota, that's one of my other teams. They're going to do really good. If Aaron Rodgers leaves, although I doubt he will, or if he sits out, Minnesota's winning that division. Either way, I think they're getting a wild card spot. So I have Minnesota winning 27-16. Minnesota's player of the game, Dalvin Cook. He'll do good that game. Get 2 touchdowns, somewhere around there. And Cincinnati's player of the game is Jesse Bates, just because Kirk Cousins will probably throw a pick or 2 to him. So yeah, I do think if this was later in the season, it could be a closer matchup, but I still have Minnesota winning by 11 with a final score of 27-16.
Okay, so for my predictions for this game, I think it's going to be kind of close. I think it'll be within a score, just because you never really know. It's week 1. So I say it's 27-20 with Minnesota taking the win, mainly because, Minnesota doesn't really have that much of a weak spot on the offense. The line is like mediocre, but they improved with Darisaw and stuff. So, and then Kirk Cousins, he's over serviceable. So their offense is going to be like steam powering through the season. Their defense, with Danielle Hunter coming back, I think he's coming back, they're going to be so much better, and their defense is going to really shine. So I say that Cincinnati's player of the game is going to be Jesse Bates. No offense to Cincinnati, though. I think that they do have potential later on, like in the next couple years. But just now, I don't think it's a good time for them. And then with Minnesota's player of the game, I think it's Dalvin Cook. Honestly, with that, he can just run through that defense, and he's going to score.
Okay, so y'all have had very interesting takes on this game, in my opinion. I have the Minnesota Vikings winning this game 20-0.
No
20
way.
to 0.
What?
20-0.
A goose egg?
Okay, okay.
Zero.
Who's Cincinnati's kicker? To be fair, they'll have to score a touchdown.
Oh, they have the
Nobody.
Bullock. Bullock's actually pretty good.
Bullock.
They lost Randy Bullock, I thought.
They did?
I can't spell Bullock.
Oh, no, they got a new one, I think. They got a rookie.
Oh, yeah, they got that
Bengals
Florida
kicker.
kicker.
The
He missed
Bengals
in the
kicker,
fall to beat LSU. All right, Minnesota is
Evan
winning this game
McPherson.
20-0. Minnesota is winning this game 20-0. You like that? You like that at QB?
Nah.
The big KC. You got the chef in the kitchen. Got his jersey right above me. Okay.
You pointed
You
to
got
Marshall.
Justin Jefferson. You got Adam Thielen. You got Irv Smith Jr. You got the best fullback in all, second best fullback in all of football.
Who? CJ Ham? I guess.
TJ Ham.
Janovich is
Defense. Daniil Hunter. What's that white safety's name?
Harrison
Harrison Smith. You got Michael Pierce. Your defense is loaded.
Didn't he
Joe
opt-
Burrow came off of a torn ACL, and this is week 1. He's not going to be healthy. He's not going to be fully healthy. He's barely going to be able to stand. And they passed on Penei Sewell and picked Jamar Chase to reunite him and Joe Burrow. And I don't even think he wanted to go there. They could have had the best offensive lineman in football.
But what about the GOAT, Brandon Allen, to come in if Joe Burrow's out?
I'm going to count on this. Joe Burrow will get pulled by the end of the game.
Brandon Allen, though.
Daniil Hunter is your player of the game for Minnesota. Jesse Bates gets 1 tackle and gets enough to be player of the game for Cincinnati.
Jake, sometimes I wonder.
Minnesota's defense isn't like the Patriots. They're not going to goose egg the Cincinnati. Cincinnati's offense is not that bad.
It's not that bad, Jake.
It's not like Minnesota has like the Patriots or like the Steelers defense.
I'm not saying their offense is bad. I'm saying their offensive line is bad. I'm saying their quarterback isn't healthy.
Their tackles are fine.
They have enough to score. I mean, they can at least get a field goal.
All right, Jake.
Oh, they have more than enough to score, but not when your quarterback hasn't stood in 12 months.
Their tackles are not bad. It's their interior. I'm pretty sure they drafted a lineman in the second round. Anyways.
All right, next.
All right, next game. This is a bad game. San Francisco at Detroit. Detroit last year, around this time, my predictions for them, I thought they'd do good. I had them going 9-7. I thought, Matthew Stafford, Kenny Golladay, Marvin Jones. I thought DeAndre Swift, TJ Hawkinson, Frank Ragnow. Like, Detroit's offense was solid. It could have been solid last year. Golladay got injured. I'm pretty sure Stafford got injured. Did he? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Him, probably.
Marvin Jones, I think, missed a few games. So the line just kind of fell apart last year. And then they just decided to trade Stafford and lose their top 2 receivers. Now their top receivers are Tyrell Williams and Brashad Perryman. I think the guy they drafted could be good, Amon-Ra St. Brown, because he's like the only good receiver on that team. Or,
He's not that guy.
He has potential to be the number 1.
He's not that guy.
He's in a good situation for him. But Jared Goff, he's not good. Swift will be good. He'll be a good fantasy pick because they have the Lions have a good offensive line and a good tight end. That's it. Their defense sucks. So that being said, San Francisco is going to win this game, even with Jimmy Garoppolo starting, 20-10. San Francisco's player of the game will be Nick Bosa. Will not be fully healthy yet, and the Lions do have a good line, so it won't be one of their edge rushers. It'll be Brandon Ayuk because I have no clue who Detroit's top corner is. It's like Jeff Okudah or something like that. Quentin Dunbar. I don't know. They're not good at corner. So Brandon Ayuk will have a big game there. And Detroit's player of the game, it could be Penei Sewell if he guards Nick Bosa good. If Nick Bosa plays and they match up, he could prove himself. But I'm going with the safe pick. I'm just going to take Frank Ragnow. He'll do fine that game. TJ Hawkinson won't have a great game because Fred Warner will be covering him. So, yeah, those are my predictions for that pretty crap.
It's going to be Greenlaw.
It's going to be who?
Greenlaw.
Dre Green. Yeah, you're right. You might be right.
Yeah.
All right, Nick.
For this week, I'm going to say that they're going to win by like 2 scores. So it's going to be like 24-7. It'll be more than that probably, but just since Jimmy Garoppolo is starting, it's going to be brutal. So I'm excited to see it because I don't like the Lions. So for San Fran's player of the game, I'm going to go with Kittle because he's going to burn out that entire defense. In my opinion, he's going to be the best tight end in the NFL next year. Because Kelsey, I think he's going to be really good, but he's starting to get older and stuff, and Kittle is still very young. And if Trey Lance is good. And then for the Lions player of the game, I'm picking Sewell just because I can't really think of another player who would be that good for them, really. And I think Sewell is really talented and stuff. And in his first game, I mean, we'll see. I mean, he'll be faced with a challenge against the 49ers, but if he can perform, then I think that he could be the player of the game. So yeah, I have San Fran winning that game.
I forgot about George Kittle entirely.
Okay, so for my prediction, I have San Fran beating Detroit 35-10. There's nothing really special in Detroit. They got the big man, JG, Jared Goff. He's booty cheeks.
Jared
Goff sucks. He's the only person he's going to go throw to is TJ Hawkinson. That's why I will be drafting him in fantasy football this year. He is the only target on that Detroit offense. Only target. San Francisco is going to crush them. I mean, I don't think it has much of a difference if you play Trey Lance or if you play Jimmy G. I know Jimmy G will start, but that defense is a little bumped up. Solomon Thomas got hurt. Nick Bosa got hurt. You had to have Kerry Hyder Jr. step up and get you 8 sacks. I think that all in all, 35-10 is what the score will be. George Kittle is going to smoke that whatever defense that is. And then I have Penei Sewell. This was a toss-up between Penei Sewell and Justin Coleman. He's going to be guarding what's his name? What's that rookie?
Jake, Justin Coleman isn't on the Lions.
He went to the Dolphins.
So it will be Penei Sewell with the player of the game.
They cut him, I think.
Yeah, he's a free agent. The Dolphins got him.
They let him walk like everyone else.
It's Penei Sewell.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I went Frank right now, but yeah, I could see that happening. All right, so we are 5 games into this. 6th game is going to be Arizona at Tennessee.
Oh, boy, I got a lot to talk about this one.
I had Arizona winning before Julio trade. Then I had Tennessee winning. But now I think more about it. And Tennessee's defense – hold on. Back your face up from the camera. Tennessee's
blowout of the game right here.
What?
Blowout of the year right here.
Hold on. Tennessee's defense, okay, it's bad. They got Bud Dupree, sure. I think they have Harold Landry and some other guy, Roger Saffold, whatever. It's bad. Their number 1 corner is Janoris Jenkins. They drafted an injury-prone Caleb Farley.
Jenkins is not their number 1 corner.
Yeah, he is. Who is?
You got that Christian Fulton. You got the guy that they drafted in the first round from Virginia Tech.
Caleb Farley's not going to be number 1 week 1.
Jenkins doesn't even play for the Titans, I don't think.
Yes, he does. They signed him. Caleb Farley might be good. He's injury-prone. And Christian Fulton's not number 1 corner yet. I do think he could be good. But week 1, Tennessee's defense is horrible. Arizona's defense, I know they just added J.J. Watt, not too much else. They Chandler Jones. They did lose Hassan Reddick. I think Isaiah Simmons is due for a big year. They have Buda Baker. They have Byron Murphy. They did lose Patrick Peterson. But I think their defense, I think both offenses, I think Tennessee gets the edge for the offense. Quarterbacks, I would take Kyler Murray over Ryan Tannehill. That's my opinion. Tennessee is the better run game. Pass game, you could go either way because of how good Hopkins is and because Arizona is more depth at receiver with A.J. Green, Christian Kirk, and Rondale Moore, Jake's favorite. So you could either win on the receiving game. I'll give the edge to the Titans. Offensive lines I don't really know too much about. Could be Tennessee by a slight edge. But really, the only thing Tennessee blows Arizona out in is running back. So if they can stop Derrick Henry and they have a good enough defensive line to do so, I'm going to take Arizona in this one, 27-24. I had it at 27-21, but I'm thinking now 27-24. Arizona's player of the game, DeAndre Hopkins. He's going to torch all Tennessee's corners. He's going to have a huge game. And Tennessee's player of the game is going to be A.J. Brown because most of the focus is going to be guarding Julio. Leave A.J. Brown open because they'll be focusing on Derrick Henry and Julio Jones. So that's my predictions for that game. I think it'll be 27-24, but honestly, it could be 27-24. Tennessee wins. It's going to be within a field goal, I think, either way. It'll be one-score game, but I have Arizona winning. But if you either way.
I also see this being a close game. I mean, their defenses are both pretty iffy, especially Tennessee's, but Arizona's, I mean, they added J.J. Watt. They have Chandler Jones. They lost Patrick Peterson. It's a really big up and down kind of scenario. It's kind of offense versus offense.
JJ
Really.
Watt.
But I see it being within a field goal. I mean, like 30-27, just because both defenses I don't really like. I mean, but both offenses are stacked. And then you got Kyler Murray, rising star, D-Hop, like you got Christian Kirk also on that offense, which is pretty good. And those guys are really good. And even though Tennessee's offense got Julio Jones, their defense is probably one of the worst, if not the worst, in the league. So I'm taking Arizona with their player of the game being D-Hop and Tennessee's player of the game being Julio Jones. Again, both defenses are not that good. So, thank you.
All right, Jake, give your spiel.
I don't even know where you guys are coming from at this point. Arizona, in my opinion, has Buda Baker has the worst defense secondary in the NFL. Sure, they have J.J. Watt. They have Chandler Jones. They have Isaiah Simmons at linebacker. They have Jordan Hicks. Fine. Isaiah Simmons is a bust. Jordan Hicks is overrated. J.J. Watt's old. Chandler Jones is hurt. Their number one cornerback last year was that, like, weird. So I don't even know who it was, but he let Tyler Lockett score, like, 4 touchdowns on him in a game. I have the score being 56-14 Tennessee.
Oh my God.
56-14.
Oh, we're gonna come back to this.
You got Ryan Tannehill. If you have Russell Wilson only throwing to Tyler Lockett, how do you feel about Ryan Tannehill to Julio Jones to A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry? I don't know how you can say no to that against a horrible secondary. Horrible secondary.
Not horrible.
MVP of this game. DeAndre Hopkins gonna get 2 touchdowns. Ryan Tannehill gonna throw 8 touchdowns.
No touchdowns for Henry?
2 receiving.
I mean, here's the thing. I know you're a Seattle fan, so you're gonna like crap on the Cardinals. You get.
I'm not being biased at all. I have us losing.
The worst
Tennessee by a
secondary.
blowout,
The Titans secondary is so much worse. The Raiders
It's
secondary.
so bad.
The Jets secondary is worse. Dude, Cardinals secondary. Byron Murphy. All right.
All they have is Buda Baker.
Malcolm Butler. He's all right. Jalen Thompson, Buda Baker. Okay, their secondary isn't great, but it's not horrible. And then you have.
But is it able to handle Julio Jones and A.J. Brown?
No, I don't
think
they
so.
will be able to handle them, but I don't think that the Titans secondary will be able to handle Hopkins at all.
I think they will.
Isaiah Simmons, Zaven Collins, if he ends up being any good, like they'll be fine. They might not play.
It's a coin flip to see if their defense is good.
Yeah, I mean,
but Tennessee we know is going to suck.
Yeah, Tennessee defense, you know, they're going to suck. It's like Arizona.
Cardinals is going to be up and down. You know, you never know what you're going to get.
Even if their defense is bad, it's not Tennessee bad. Okay, next game we have the Seahawks visiting the Colts.
Game of the week right here. Game of the week.
Wait. No, that's Chargers, Washington, or Arizona, Tennessee. Oh, this will be a good game.
Nah.
I had Indianapolis winning up until about a week ago. And I thought about it. Russell Wilson plays good the first 8-10 games, and then he sucks after that. I mean, he doesn't suck. He's about average at best. Then, well, that's why the Seahawks always lose in the first round of the playoffs, and why Russell Wilson still hasn't won an MVP trophy. But this is week 1. Russell Wilson, Colts' new quarterback, going to be unprepared. Not much there in the receiver room other than Michael Pittman, and I guess very aging T.Y. Hilton. Zach Pascal is another guy I'm forgetting. But, you know, tight ends are all right. Their line is pretty good. And the Seahawks defense is horrible. So for that reason, I do have the Colts player of the game being Jonathan Taylor. But I still have Seattle winning with a final score of 23-16. Seattle. Russell Wilson is the Seahawks player of the game, as there was a couple of touchdowns against that Colts defense. And while the Colts defense does their best to contain them, it's like a lot of teams, your defense can only do so much for you when your offense is that bad, because I don't think Carson Wentz will be any good next year. But I think he'll progress as the season gets on. He might be everyone's best. What?
Can I add something?
Yeah.
You say Jonathan Taylor is going to win player of the game for that, right?
Uh-huh.
The Seahawks had the best running defense in the NFL last year. The best running defense. We allowed the least running touchdowns. We only had 2 or 3. We allowed the least yards per rush. We were the best run defense in the NFL. The worst passing defense, best run defense.
Are you sure about that?
Oh, yeah.
You're very sure about that?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I'm looking here, and let's see. Well, there isn't a, rushing yards allowed.
Best,
total,
the
it's
number one.
total yards allowed on here, not rushing. Oh, wait, here it is. Yards per game allowed, rushing. No, they were not. They were like 5th. I mean, still good. But the Colts offensive line, and then you Nyheim Hines, Marlon Mack, and Jonathan Taylor. Bro, who do the Seahawks have? I mean, rushing. Carlos Dunlap. I know you think he's great. He's nothing special.
Jamal Adams.
We got Kerry Hyder Jr.
Who?
8 sacks last year. Poona
Ford.
The most underrated defensive tackle in the NFL. Poona Ford. Best run stopper in the NFL.
Who's Brian Moses?
Huh? Poona Ford. Daddy Dunlap. We got Jamal Adams. I'm considering him on the D-line.
Yeah, because
Jamal Adams.
Coverage safety.
We got a 2nd-round pick in Darrell Taylor from 2 years ago. We got Jordan Brooks. We got Bobby Wagner. Can we stopping that? Can I just go ahead? I'm giving so many points. Can I just go at this point? I'm honestly just going to go at this point.
Yeah, go.
Seattle's going to win this game. Seattle's going to win this game 24-21. Game-winning field goal. You know if you're playing Seattle, it's going to be a close game. You know if you're a Seattle fan, every game you have a heart attack. That's just what happens if you're the Seattle Seahawks. Russell Wilson, in the first game of the season, is unbelievable. Every time. He's so good. You have DK Metcalf lining up against, I don't even know who their cornerback number 1 is.
Kenny
Moore. Have Kenny Moore, Shmenny Moore. I don't know who that is.
Oh, really? What?
I don't know who their safeties are. They're probably trash. The only good thing they have on their defense is that D-line. They have DeForest Buckner.
Their secondary is pretty good.
It's all right.
It's all right. They've Julian Blackmon, Rock Ya-Sin, Xavier Rhodes.
Yeah, Gerald Everett, who I think will win the comeback player, or he will be the breakout player of the year for the Seattle Seahawks.
Okay, you said comeback player.
He's in Shane Waldron's offensive scheme. If you didn't know, Shane Waldron is the new Seahawks offensive coordinator. Came over from the Rams. He brought Gerald Everett with him. Gerald Everett signed a 2-year deal with the Seahawks. We have Gerald Everett. He's going to be identical with what Shane Waldron wants to use in Seattle. He wants a fast tempo. He wants to throw the ball deep. He wants to screw you over with motions. He wants jet sweeps. He wants all that stuff, and Gerald Everett's familiar with it. I don't think the Colts defense will be able to handle that. Plus, our defense, Jamal Adams, Bobby Wagner, Jordan Brooks. We got okay corners, DJ Reed, all of them. I think we win this game 24-21 with a game-winning kick from a 42-yard game-winning kick with Jason Myers. Hits the top of the left goalpost, bumps in, Seattle wins it, goes crazy. MVP for the Seahawks is Jordan Brooks. 3 sacks, goes off. What's his name? DeForest Buckner, player of the game, Colts.
All this talk about Seattle just to have them win by a field goal, really?
Yeah.
Brown
It's
fuzzy.
Seattle.
Jason Myers is better than just hitting it off the side. He's gonna get it right down the middle though. He's like one of the best kickers.
Brown fuzzy there, Jake.
What?
Brown fuzzy there.
Brown fuzzy
Oh,
cub.
you snuggled up. Brown fuzzy is Jake's blanket. It looks like Chewbacca. It looks like his dog, but it's a special blanket. He needs it. We don't judge. Nick.
Yeah. Okay, so for this game, I actually think Indianapolis is very overrated. I mean, Carson Wentz is like a make or break, Yeah, so if he's like he might be decent, but I mean the offense is just their line is really good. They have a decent running back core. They have a good running back core actually. They have no receivers. Michael Pittman's like not that good. He might break out. You never know. It's like you never know with that offense. That defense is very good though. I like the defense. Like that's why I have Darius Leonard as their defensive or their MVP for the game. Just because he's like one of my favorite players. He's like really underrated and very good. But I still think Seattle is going to take this dub by over a score. I mean, their offense is too good at the beginning of the season. So I say it's probably going to be like 24-13. I mean, like Seattle is definitely going to take this one home. With Seattle's player of the game being Russell Wilson, of course. Beginning of the season, MVP candidate Russell Wilson. There we go. Thank you.
Beautiful statement.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We still have 9 of the 16 games.
Right here, baby.
We have
MVP.
We've talked up these games a lot. We're not even halfway done, but we're here. We're gonna keep doing these games. Next up is Chargers will visit the Washington football team. Game of the week, in my opinion. Not the best teams, all right, but I think it's a great matchup. You have second-year Justin Herbert, offensive rookie of the year, going against second-year Chase Young, defensive rookie of the year. I think it'll be a really good game. I think one of two things will happen. Either one, Chargers get a last-second touchdown, kick the extra point to tie the game if they want to, 21-21, but instead they try to go for 2 to win it, and they don't get it, 20-21. Or in the last few minutes of the game, Chargers up 20-14. Chase Young gets a scoop and score, takes it back to the house for a touchdown, and Washington wins either way by 1 point, just barely, 21-20. I think it'll be a very good game, but I think Washington is slightly more prepared for this game. Chargers player of the game will be Joey Bosa. He'll get a couple of sacks against the very old Ryan Fitzpatrick.
He's still the GOAT, though. Daddy Fitzmagic.
And he'll do good. And I think Washington's player of the game will be Chase Young. He'll get a few sacks, a turnover, maybe even a touchdown.
Yeah.
Very good game. But I have Washington edging out the Chargers as the more prepared team that game.
Okay. I think this is going to be a close game too, but I don't see it being game of the week though. I mean, like I got a few other candidates in mind, but this game, it's going to be close. It might be a little low scoring, but I have the Chargers actually winning this one just because I feel like they're going to get pieces back like Derwin James, which in my opinion, when healthy, might be the best safety in the NFL. But he hasn't been healthy in like 1 or 2 years. So I mean, when he's coming back, he's a make or break. But they also have all these other pieces on that defense that can just really shine. They're a very young team compared to Washington. Well, I mean, Washington has a lot of pieces as well. But I just see Chargers because their defense is still kind of decent. And the Washington offense, you really got to see how Fitzmagic plays as a starter. I mean, he's still kind of tunnel vision. He will still throw a lot of picks. But you never know. So that's why I have it 20-17 with the Chargers player of the game being Justin Herbert probably, just because he just shines so much and he's a really good rookie last year. And then with the Washington player of the game being Chase Young, I mean, enough said. I mean, he's really got all that talent in the world.
So, hold on. I was wrong. Game of the week. I'm looking over it now. It's not this game. It's it's Cleveland, Kansas City. I
agree with you.
I missed that one. Okay, Jake, you can do yours. I just had to get that up there.
I'm just going to say this right now. Washington's winning this game 21-10. against the Chargers. Justin Herbert is not going to be able to dot and have a good game against that Washington defense. They're too good. Jonathan Allen, Chase Young, Montez Sweat. I mean, you got all those guys, and I don't think he's going to be able to stop them. It's going to be a Keenan Allen. It's going to be Mike Williams against Mackenzie Alexander and Kendall Fuller. I don't think that they're going to have a great game. That's why I have them putting up 10 on the scoreboard. I think Eckler going to get a few, maybe a rushing touchdown. Washington offensively, I like Fitzmagic in this scenario. Him and Scary Terry, I think are going to have a good game. I think Logan Thomas could be a possible player of the game, but I don't have him being my player of the game. I actually have my player of the game for Washington being Curtis Samuel. He's going to come in and be the wide receiver 2 in this scenario. I think Curtis Samuel is a very underrated receiver in the NFL, and I think Curtis Samuel could have an absolute game. Curtis Samuel, MVP, and I have Kenneth Murray being the MVP for the Chargers.
Not just a game for Curtis Samuel, but I think he could have a huge year. I think he'll break 1,000 yards.
I agree.
He's so underrated. He's the wide receiver 3 last year in that offense. In my opinion, he's better than Robbie Anderson. Should have been the wide receiver 2. I'm not a big Robbie Anderson guy. That's just me. He'll be better this year back with Sam Darnold. Washington, yeah, they signed they also signed William Jackson from the Bengals, added more depth to corner.
Most underrated cornerback, baby.
They have Landon Collins. I don't know if he's coming back that game. He might not be. They have Matt Ioannidis coming back from injury. So, they're getting some guys back. They drafted Jamin Davis. He'll be good. Linebacker. Washington just stacked everywhere. Offensive line could use a little bit of work, so could the linebackers and quarterback, but they're fine.
The only thing, in my opinion, that could flip my opinion about the Chargers having a chance is if their pass rush shows up. If Fitzpatrick is pressured, he will get screwed over. Last year, when Fitzpatrick played, he was pressured, and he would always make mistakes. He would throw interceptions. He would throw tip balls. And if they have Joey Bosa attack him, I think Chargers could possibly win that game, but I'm still going to stick with Washington.
Okay, we are now at the halfway point. Now we have the New York Jets visiting. I know we've talked so much about these games, but we're doing 1 week per episode, so y'all might as well stick around. We're doing. I'll just plug because it's the middle of the episode. We're gonna do 3 episodes a week, ideally during the off season. 2 a week during the season, 1 with the game recaps and the other 1 fantasy episode. Just start and sit who had a good fantasy football week. But for now, we're going to try and get all these game things out by the time preseason starts, so about 8-ish weeks. And, yeah, whatever episodes else we want to do, that's the plan. So enjoy it. But back to this, Jets at Panthers. Good game, I think. Well, because I'm excited to see Sam Darnold play, and he plays against his former team. He'll be good in that Carolina offense. But, yeah, I have Carolina winning 24-13. Zach Wilson will be okay in the NFL. He's not going to be anything special. Carolina's another team I'm doing good. And my most recent this record prediction did it at the airport a week ago. Just kind of did it quick. I wasn't really looking at the records, but at the end, I had Carolina going 11-6. I didn't really think too much of it. I think they'll get at least 9 wins, and they get anywhere up to 12. I think Carolina could be, if Sam Darnold proves. But Sam Darnold has some talent. So, yeah, I have them starting off 1-0. Jets player of the game is going to be Quinnen Williams. He'll be all right. He might get a sack or 2 against his former teammate. And Christian McCaffrey is Panthers player of the game. He'll come back from injury. Still the number 1 fantasy pick, in my opinion. He'll come back as Christian McCaffrey. Pick up right where he left off with his historical season in 2019. So, yeah, I have the Panthers taking that game 24-13.
I agree with that. I also have the Panthers taking that game. I see similarities with Zach Wilson. I kind of see similarities with him and Drew Lock, for example. I don't think Zach Wilson's going to shine right away. He might be like mediocre to decent his first year, but I don't see him succeeding that much. I feel like Trey Lance and Justin Fields were both better than him. And I think that the Jets are just going to have like some offensive issues at the very beginning of the year. And their defense has a few good bright spots, but their defense still isn't fully built yet either. I mean, they're still a rebuilding team. So that's why I have Carolina winning 24-16 because I think Darnold's going to be serviceable at worst. I think he could still be a decent quarterback. And with that new like system, Christian McCaffrey, of course, Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, all those guys. And then the Carolina defense has a lot of good pieces as well. They're very young, talented, and I could see them coming and being good next season. So, yeah, I am taking Carolina with their player of the game being CMC, of course, like probably the best running back in the league next year with Derrick Henry. And then I have the Jets player of the game being Marcus May, a very underrated and very talented safety.
Jets are winning this game.
Nah.
31-28, New York Jets. They're back, baby. Robert Saleh is going to win Coach of the Year. Robert Saleh was the best defensive coordinator in football for the past 2 to 3 years. What he did to that Sam was ridiculous. He took them from maybe a top 20 defense to the number 1 defense in 1 year. He had Nick Bosa become one of the best defensive pass rushers in the NFL. He turned that defense around. Zach Wilson is that boy's gonna shine brighter than my face with this ring light right now. He's gonna shine so bright. He's gonna be so good, man. Zach Wilson is gonna be a superstar. He's gonna pull touchdowns on the field, and just like how he pulls off the field with that girlfriend of his. Like he has everything going his way. The Jets are gonna be I can't say so good. They're gonna be decent this year. Zach Wilson, player of the game. Christian McCaffrey, player of the game.
Okay, well, okay. Now, Zach Wilson, I agree. The Jets will be all right.
Rookie of the year.
But the Jets have been in the rebuilding process, and I think they're just now on the trend up. But they have another 2 first-round picks next year, but they're just now starting to trend up. So teams don't. I mean, the 49ers did it, I guess, that 1 year where they went from having the second pick, taking Nick Bosa, to being the Super Bowl. I just don't see it happening with the Jets. I think they're all right.
I'm not saying they're going to go from second pick to Super Bowl. I'm saying they're going to go from second pick to maybe 15th pick. They got Elijah Vera Tucker in the offseason, who's the best interior offensive lineman we had in the draft. They have Mekhi Becton, who's still on the upside. He had a pretty good rookie year, got injured. They also got Corey Davis, who is a pretty good receiver, top 5 pick in the NFL draft in 2017. They have what's his name? That other receiver. What's his name?
Jamison Crowder.
Jamison Crowder. Crowder, he's pretty good. They just need a running back to seal the deal.
They'll still have a top 10 pick next year. Okay, they'll go at like 5 wins at most, maybe
7-10.
Anywhere from 2 to 6 wins, I would say.
7. Yeah, I'd say 2 to 6.
But I will say, what happened to the Jets receiver corps? No one's talked about it. Corey Davis was pretty good last year, and now he's on the Jets. I haven't heard anyone say a word about him. Like those videos they do on TikTok with the team randomizer, and you try and build the team, and they get the Jets. Yeah. And the Jets have no one good, so they say, "Oh, I guess I'll take Corey Davis." You guess Corey Davis is not that bad, and then Jamison Crowder is listed as the wide receiver 3 on their depth chart. What happened to him? I thought he was pretty good. He is like 28, 29. He's not bad. He's listed as the 3 behind Denzel Mims, who I think will have a good sophomore season. And they drafted Elijah Moore. So that receiver core is good, along with Christopher Herndon, who could have a breakout year. And Michael Carter has Tevin Coleman in front of him. That's it. He has a clear path to be a good running back 1. If he has any talent, Michael Carter will be a good running back. So
Michael Carter will be good.
That offense can be good, but it won't be good week 1. Carolina's more prepared. So next game, worst game of the week, Jacksonville at Houston. This is going to be a horrible game. And Jacksonville is better. But that being said, looking through Houston's schedule, before the Julio trade, I did have them beating the Titans once because of how incomplete the Titans were. Now I don't have them beating the Titans once. They're not going to beat Tennessee. Houston's bad. But 0-17 bad, I think, is a little bit of a stretch. I have to give them one win somewhere. So I think they'll either beat Jacksonville this game or the next time they play them. But I think Jacksonville will be more prepared the next time they play them. I think it's the last week of the season, week 18. But Jacksonville's not going to be sitting their starters, not going to be a playoff clinch. They're still going to play the Jaguars with Trevor Lawrence already playing like almost a full season. So I think they're more likely to win Trevor Lawrence's first week. And while I do kind of think the Jaguars will win this game, I have to give Houston one win somewhere because they're not 0-17 bad, even if Watson doesn't play. I have Houston winning 16-14. Not a good game at all. It's going to be a horrible game. Travis Etienne is the Jaguars player of the game because Houston has no defense whatsoever. It's going to be a perfect opportunity for him to get involved in the run and receiving game. So because of him being involved in both, for that reason, he'll be their player of the game. And Houston's player of the game, Brandon Cooks, just because, I mean, who else to read, I guess? Brandon Cooks. That's Houston's player of the game. Not much to be said there.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be a pretty bad game, but I'm going to take Jacksonville here because I don't want to have my only reason that Texans are winning is just so they can have a win. I mean, Jacksonville just has more potential. They have more weapons, and they even have more defensive weapons. They beat them by both sides of the ball. The Texans literally have nothing other than Brandon Cooks and Shaq Lawson. They literally have nothing other than that. And I just don't see them being good at all. I mean, I don't know if they'll go 0-17, but saying that they're just going to win off the bat just because they need to get a win is a little bit out there. I have Jacksonville winning 17-7, with their player of the game being James Robinson. I still think that he's going to be utilized as the running back one. Or is Etienne a wide receiver now?
He plays both.
Etienne's the running back. He's going to be the receiving back because what's his name is going to be the power back.
Yeah, Robinson. I still think Robinson's going to be very good, and I think they'll utilize him as the number one guy to start off the season, in my opinion. And then Texans player of the game, I'm going to say Cooks or something, just because I don't really see anyone else shining doing that much, in my opinion.
Jacksonville, in my opinion, had a pretty good offseason. Okay, I'm just going to say this. No offense to Deshaun Watson. No offense to the Texans. Jacksonville had a offseason that wasn't full of lawsuits and rape allegations. Jacksonville got good players. They addressed what they needed. They got a head coach. They got their quarterback for the future. They signed some defensive help. They got Shaquille Griffin. They've already had a decent defense. They had Miles Jack. They had Joe Sherbert. They drafted C.J. Henderson. I mean, sure, their defense was all right. It's not whatever it was called. What was it called?
Saxonville.
Their offense could use a little work. They have DJ Charles. They have D.D. Westbrook. I have Jacksonville winning this game 24-10, week 1. And I have player of the game, Trevor Lawrence, throwing 2 touchdown passes. And hello?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Houston's player of the game.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can.
Brandon Cooks.
We all said Brandon Cooks because there's no one else.
I mean, that's the reality of it. Now, I get what you mean, but don't confuse someone just to give them a win. But every team, like the Jets last year, got 2 wins against the Rams and the Browns that they shouldn't have gotten.
But, I mean, those were lucky wins that happened later in the season.
Miami, in their horrible season, still managed to win 5 games. I think
Brian Flores.
That being said,
such a good coach.
Yeah, I think Houston will win a game. I just don't know where to give it to them. And I think they have the best chance against either Jacksonville week 1 or the Jets, I think, week 12. But again, that's week 12. Yeah. Jeff Wilson's more prepared. I would rather take my bet on a guy, even though it's Trevor Lawrence, it's still the NFL. I don't care how good Trevor Lawrence is. It's his first game in the NFL other than preseason. So he'll still have some struggles, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I mean, I still see him being pretty good, like, off the bat, just because I feel like he's prepared.
Yeah, I think he'll be all right, but if Houston's going to get a win, it's going to be here, and they'll get a win. Next game of the week, Cleveland at Kansas City.
I agree with that.
Good game, really good game. After Cleveland got screwed last year in the AFC Championship game, that touchback in the end zone, fumble in the end zone, no helmet-to-helmet call for that. Cleveland's looking for revenge against Kansas City. They're really hot, but Kansas City's still going to win. I could see Cleveland winning if Cleveland was the home team, but they're not. So Kansas City wins 35-31 in a really good game of the week. Cleveland's player of the game, Nick Chubb. He's going to get a few touchdowns at least. Kansas City's player of the game, not going to be Patrick Mahomes because he could take a few sacks against Cleveland's defensive line. It'll be Travis Kelce because Cleveland has inexperienced linebackers. That's the game of the week. It'll be really good. That'll not be the game I'm watching, though, because I'll be watching my Denver game. But it'll be a good game.
Yes, I also agree that it's going to be a very, very close game. And I feel like if it was later in the season, that Cleveland could take this home. But I feel like the Chiefs are just going to be more prepared right off the bat in, like, week one, in my opinion. I mean, the Chiefs just came off of that horrible, like, Super Bowl loss. They're angry. They're red hot. And in my opinion, these are two of the best, hottest teams in the AFC right now. So just for them to face off, I think it's going to be a really strong, good game. But I just see KC being more prepared, and they're just going to be a lot stronger right off the bat. So I'm gonna say it's like within a field goal though, like 38-35, just because Cleveland's defense is going to help them a lot. I mean, even though they're going to let up a lot of points, they're still going to keep it kind of close with Cleveland because Cleveland's offense is going to power through as well. But I just see KC winning, so I'm going to say Nick Chubb as well as Cleveland's player of the game, and Tyrann Mathieu is the Chiefs player game, just because the Browns defense I have really high hopes in, and I think that it should be a defensive player for the Chiefs. I think he can help stop that Browns offense.
So Kansas City, Cleveland. This is a very intriguing game for this week, but ultimately, after what happened in February to the Kansas City Chiefs, I think they're going to be a little mad after losing the Super Bowl, which kind of sucks. So I have Kansas City defeating the Cleveland Browns 28-21. I think Cleveland's a good team. They're up and coming. They have a young quarterback, a pretty young roster all in all. They have a pretty good pass rush with Myles Garrett and the newly signed Jadeveon Clowney. They have Grant Delpit at safety. But ultimately, I don't think you're going to be able to stop Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Myles Garrett wins player of the game, and so does Tyreek Hill.
Okay, 5 games left. Miami at New England, Nick. Good game. New England's more prepared. But also, so is Miami. It's weird to say. I think New England has more new additions. Miami is more, used to it because it's similar last season. More so for Miami, not as many additions. Tua's not ready. I think Tua's I know he threw 6 touchdowns today. He threw 5 picks the other day. It's minicamp. It's not much to worry about. None of this really matters that much. Jimmy Garoppolo threw 5 picks in the minicamp day in 2019, where the year the 49ers went to the Super Bowl. Blake Bortles threw 5 picks in the minicamp when the Jaguars went to the AFC Championship game that year. So it's not much to worry about. But it's something to look out for. I already, before that even so, had New England winning 20-17 in a close, low-scoring game. Will mainly be a defensive battle. Xavier Howard is the Dolphins player of the game. He made a couple of picks off of Cam Newton starting, I believe. Not Mac Jones. And New England's player of the game, either Jonnu Smith or Hunter Henry. I don't know Jonnu Smith. He's just going to, have a good game against Miami's non-existent linebacking core very much. I mean, Van Ginkel and who's the other guy?
They had Ginkel, Jerome Baker, and Van Noy, but they just lost Van Noy though. So
Yeah,
I forgot who I think they got Benedict McKinney. He's a veteran, but he's still very talented.
yes.
They have a decent linebacker core.
In a weak linebacking core, sort of the weakest part of their defense. Okay,
Yeah,
Nick.
I agree with that.
I want to actually, Jake, you go because I know Nick's gonna have a lot to say for this. We save Nick for Jake.
What?
Miami, New England.
Okay. So Miami is gonna win this game, 17-14. I think it's another close game. Tua Tagovailoa, he's gonna do all right. He's gonna throw a touchdown pass, but the best player on the Miami Dolphins is not Tua, is not any of the receivers, does not play on the defense or on the offensive line. Neither is he a tight end. The best player on the Miami Dolphins is the Sandman, Myles Gaskin. Myles Gaskin is the most underrated running back in football. Myles Gaskin, four-time Pac-12 running back of the year, four-time Pac-12 player of the year, four-time 1,000-yard rusher, four-time 10-plus touchdown rusher. Myles Gaskin is so good. Myles Gaskin is going to carry this Miami offense to a victory. Although I think Jalen Waddle will have a pretty okay rookie performance. Tua throw a touchdown, throw 2 interceptions. New England, I don't see anything special. They picked Mac Jones, number 15, when they have Cam Newton there. Don't know who's going to win the quarterback job there. All I know is they got 2 good tight ends this year. They got Hunter Henry and they got Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith will have a pretty good game. I have Jonnu Smith, player of the game, as well as Myles Gaskin.
Myles Gaskin is underrated.
He is very underrated, and people hate on him, even though the only reason that he didn't really perform well last year was that he was injured. When he was healthy, he shined. He had some very significant moments. I mean, he has the ability to break tackles. He's got extreme durability. I mean, and he has great stamina as well. I see him breaking out next year as well.
Yeah,
but that being said, I do see Miami losing. It's going to be a close game. It's the same situation as last year, kind of. I want Miami to win, but it's the same situation. It's in Foxborough. It's the Patriots. It's the Patriots Stadium, and the Patriots had a lot more off-season additions than the Dolphins. Even though I see these 2 teams being very close. I see it being 23-17, but I do think that Tua will. I don't think he's going to throw 2 picks. Probably he's probably going to throw like maybe 1 at most. Because I think that he's going to be a lot better than people think. And the reason he threw like 5 picks, well, I mean, it could have been some on him, but I wouldn't completely blame him and say that he's a bust yet, just because there was like a complete like monsoon going on during that. And also,
it's also mini camp. No one cares about mini camp.
It's the first practice. And if people are saying that he's a bust because of that, that's insane.
2 months.
So I think he's going to have some more time to prepare. Tua is going to be just fine. I don't see him being top 15. I see him being like 17 to 20 range. I still see him improving highly with that receiving core, and they did improve their offensive line, even though it's kind of weak. But I do see they're going to put up a good fight, but it's just not going to be enough. Their player of the game is going to be X-Man himself, Xavier Howard. He's probably going to pick off Cam Newton or Mac Jones because they're both mediocre to none. And then Patriots player of the game is probably going to be like something like Hunter Henry or something, because I mean their linebackers are the weakest part of their defense, even though they're underrated. They are good, but just the rest of the Dolphins defense is better.
Jake loves his man Tua.
Yeah.
Added. Myles Gaskin is underrated. Him and Damian Harris both have potential to be good, but Damian Harris is on the Patriots, who never like to use their running backs. They just kind of forget that they're there.
Yeah, they shuffle between him and like Rex Burkhead and like random people. Like Bill Belichick does not use one running back. He shuffles.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing.
They have 3 decent running backs on the roster.
James White and Sony Michel, but they never use them.
White and Sony Michel.
They never use them. Rex Burkhead signed with the Texans. Okay.
He did?
Another Texans running back. Yeah. Okay. That's that game. 4 games left. Green Bay at New Orleans. A good game with or without Rodgers. Green Bay is going to take it, in my opinion. 23-20. Good game, average game, not bad, nothing great. It'll be one of the better games of the week. Jair Alexander wins Green Bay's player of the game because, it's Jameis Winston. He has at least a couple picks up his sleeve, but he will get better. And then Alvin Kamara is the Saints player of the game. Gets gets both of their 2 touchdowns. Has a good game for fantasy too. And yeah, 23-20. Not a bad game, but also nothing too great. I actually could see New Orleans winning though if Jordan Love starts, but I'm going to give the edge to Green Bay, 23-20.
I also see Green Bay winning. I mean, it'll be a good game because, I mean, both defenses are good. Actually, I take that back. Green Bay's defense is, like, decent, but the Saints defense is pretty good. I see it being a close matchup. I mean, the Green Bay offense against that Saints defense. I think that even though they have Jameis Winston, the Saints are still going to be close and almost make the cut to win, but they're just going to be right outside. They're going to be, like, within a score. So that's why I'm saying it's 24-17. I mean, even if they have Jordan Love, I mean, it's still like, what's his name? Jameis Winston's like first game starting and stuff. He's probably going to make like a few mistakes and stuff. I mean, he could be decent, but nothing crazy. I mean, he might lose the Saints game for them because they have a lot of strong parts other than quarterback. That's why I think that the Saints player is going to be Alvin Kamara, and I think that Green Bay's player is probably going to be Jair Alexander, mainly because, like what Josh said, it is Jameis Winston, of course. That's why Green Bay taking the dub.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Green Bay will win this game. I have Green Bay winning this game 24-10. I think this game will be a 14-point game. Sure, Aaron Rodgers just won an MVP. It could be a complete blowout for all we know because of Jameis Winston starting. But I still think he's a capable starting quarterback in the NFL. I don't think he's lost at all sitting on the bench for 1 year. Green Bay, though, their offense has a connection, man. They have Aaron Rodgers, they have Miles Valdez-Scantling, Alan Lazard, Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams, Robert Tonyan. That offense is pretty deadly, man. But then when you have New Orleans, I mean, Jameis Winston, you also have Taysom Hill that can make quarterback. They can play running back. He can play tight end. He can play whatever you want, and that man's a Swiss Army knife. Alvin Kamara. You got Michael Thomas. You have all those good players, but that defense is all right too. I mean, it's nothing special. I mean, you got Marshawn Lattimore. You got Cameron Jordan. It's not crazy. But yeah, I have Green Bay winning this, and just like both of them said, Jair Alexander, player of the game, and as well as Alvin Kamara.
Okay, here we go. Game of the week. Denver Broncos visiting the New York Giants.
Game's gonna suck.
Okay.
That's gonna be one of the worst games.
Worst games of the week.
It's not one of the worst games.
Absolutely. No one cares about the Broncos.
It is the Seahawks. Okay, you can tell I'm a Broncos fan.
Josh is ending it. Nick, go first.
The background, yeah, I'm ending it. Nick, go first.
Okay. I'm gonna say this isn't gonna be a good game. Denver's barely gonna win this one to the Giants. The Giants are really gonna put up a fight. Giants gonna try to play really well, but they won't. I mean, the Broncos have a decent defense, a good defense. Daniel Jones will make turnovers. It's just gonna happen. I mean, Drew Lock could also make turnovers, but then they could just throw in Teddy Bridgewater, who's like serviceable, mediocre guy. I mean, both defenses are very good, but I just see Broncos taking this one just because I think that they also are more prepared than the Giants. The Giants did add a lot of offseason additions, but they got to build a chemistry first on the football field before they start playing more games and stuff. So I just see the Broncos winning this one with their player being like Justin Simmons or something, and the Giants player probably being like James Bradbury, just because both the quarterbacks are probably going to throw picks, and those guys, they might be to those guys. So I have Denver winning this game, close game.
Josh, you're not going to like how I have this game ending.
Right.
I have the Giants winning by 1 point. The Giants are going to win 14-13. It's going to be the fourth quarter. 6 seconds left. Jerry Judy's going to run a little drag route. He's going to juke out James Bradbury and take it to the house. Brandon McManus is going to miss the extra point to tie it.
Brandon McManus doesn't miss.
Brandon McManus is going to miss the extra point.
Top 5.
No, he's not.
Take Denver in week 1 with those quarterbacks, man.
It's
going to be the battle. It's going to be the battle of the better defense. It's going to be either New York defense or Denver defense. Denver's defense is better.
Top 5.
You also have more targets, but I feel like that defense is so good, man.
Giants?
Player of the game for the Denver is Bradley Chubb.
Defense,
and
not top 15.
Yeah, I love it too. Player of the game
it's so underrated.
James Bradbury.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay. Y'all gonna sit back. This will be about 5 minutes probably. Okay, so Denver Giants. I love the matchup for week 1. It's nice, not too difficult for Denver. I love their start with the Giants, Jaguars, and Jets. Gives them a good chance to win their first September game under Vic Fangio, who is winless in September in his first 2 seasons. But I think Denver's going to come out on top of this one. I think one of 2 things will happen. And Vic Fangio basically said, starting quarterback will be decided in preseason unless one of them, does really good in training camp, the other one does really bad, which hasn't happened so far in minicamp. So I think either one, Drew Lock looks good in preseason against good teams, Minnesota, Rams, and Seattle, is who we play in preseason, or he doesn't look good in the first game or 2, and you play Teddy Bridgewater, who will give you at least around average quarterback play. Didn't play good last year, but I think he'll bounce back somewhat this year, similar to Saints for him if he does start. So I think, and I also think our defense will be top 5 next year. Giants defense maybe top 15, probably top 15, but definitely not top 10.
They're better than that.
Top
Giants,
5.
Rams, Bucks, Broncos, Colts, Steelers.
Rams, Bucks, Giants, Colts, Steelers.
Giants no way.
Actually, no. Giants aren't top 5.
They're not top 10.
I think Dolphins and Patriots over them.
Yeah, I
Ravens.
take the Saints over them. I take the Niners over them.
Giants could be top.
I consider
borderline top 10.
I take.
They are underrated though.
Chicago. Yeah, Giants defense. It's better in their offense. That's not saying much. Their offense sucks everywhere. Their wide receiver core is all right.
They have a good wide receiver core and a good running back.
Okay, Saquon Barkley, who never healthy. So yeah, I have him as my 6th best running back. Most people have him top 5. I have him as my 6th best. That being said, Denver wins this 20-16. Giants defense is good, not top 10. Leonard Williams, Dexter Lawrence, James Bradbury, Logan Ryan. That's about Blake Martin. They have some good role players, but it's not top 10, definitely. Denver's defense, while improving, they have the best secondary on paper in the league, and I really don't think it's that close. Maybe the best edge rushing duo in the league. It's debatable. Von Miller and Bradley.
I agree with secondary, but edge rushing, I don't really agree with. I think that
I don't agree with that either.
Who's the best edge rushing duo?
I know. I'm trying to think. I can't really think of off the top of my head. I think there's Rams, Steelers. They're both good.
Steelers is their second one.
Steven Tuitt.
They lost Bud Dupree.
Stephon Tuitt.
Yeah.
Who? Not. It's a top 3 edge rushing duo at worst. So, and then linebacking core, it's slightly above average. You have some good depth. You have Alexander Johnson, Josie Jewell. Drafted Baron Browning. You have Justin Chernard.
No Jones.
They lost Joe Jones.
Best linebacker in the league.
One of our favorite guys. We played COD with him a lot. But they're getting Justin Chernard back from his injury. He had a wrist injury. He was rookie last year, but had a wrist injury in training camp. Didn't play at all. So we'll get to see what he's like. Defensive line, not great, but still have some good players. Shelby Harris. I think Draymond Jones is underrated. You have Mike Purcell, one of the best run stoppers in the league, coming back from injury. Yeah, so I think Denver wins 20-16. I already said that. Justin Simmons, Denver's play of the game. He gets a few picks against Daniel Jones. James Bradbury gets 1 pick against whoever the starting quarterback is, and he's Giants player of the game. That's my take on that game. I do think Denver will start out pretty good. They have easy first 3 games. Definitely potential to win all 3 of them. All right, Sunday night football game. The Chicago Bears go on the road to play the LA Rams. Decent game. I feel like this game happened on primetime just recently. Last year, maybe it didn't. I don't know. I don't remember, but
I think it did.
Decent game. But the Red Rifle Andy Dalton is going to start. Yeah, which is a good move because you don't start Justin Fields, who hasn't played snap in the NFL week 1. But yeah, Rams are going to win this game. Stacked everywhere. Matthew Stafford, MVP candidate. Next year. He has everything around him. He's the best defense. He has solid wide receiver core. Good tight end, good running back, good offensive line. The offensive line's all right. Good coaching staff. Matthew Stafford is set to do great next year. Finally in a good position. I think he could definitely win MVP next year. Jake's making faces, probably for Snapchat. Rams taking this game 27-13. Chicago's player of the game is Roquan Smith. He'll do good against the Rams line if he blitzes, or in coverage he might get a pick. Jalen Ramsey's the Rams player of the game, gets a couple picks off of Andy Dalton. That's my opinion on that game.
This game, it hurts to say as like an ex-Bears fan, but I feel like Rams, this is the game that they're definitely going to win just because Andy Dalton's going to start. And he's just really bad. I mean, he couldn't succeed with that Cowboys elite offense.
Not starting.
What?
Yes, Dalton's is officially starting week 1 instead.
Really?
Why would you start Justin Fields, a rookie, week 1? You don't start any
the Rams defense
except for Lawrence and Zach Wilson because you have to. You normally don't start a rookie week 1. You don't throw him into that. Bad move.
Yeah, but I just think that like both defenses are good, but Rams just has like a higher step above the Bears. I see it being like 30-20. I mean, like Red Rifle. I mean, he'll get like a touchdown or 2. He'll probably get like a touchdown or like 2 touchdowns. But it's just the Bears. They're just not going to start off good this season. They're probably going to go like around like they did last year, like 8-9 or like 9-8. But I see it being 30-20 with Rams player being Aaron Donald, of course, and the Bears player being Smith, Roquan Smith.
Okay. I don't know what to think about the Rams. They're always they can be really good and go to the Super Bowl, or they can be mediocre and be like 9-8. I don't know what I think of them yet. I haven't watched a ton of film on Matthew Stafford, so I don't know what I think about him. I have the Rams winning 24-17 just because it's the Bears. I don't want to take too much of a lead for the Rams because I don't know how they'll play. They have a new offensive coordinator because they lost theirs. The Bears had a great offseason. They got the third best quarterback in my opinion in the draft.
Who's second?
Huh?
Who's second?
Wilson.
Bro, what are you smoking, bro? Lance is second.
Lance is second.
Lance is fourth.
Lance is second, bro. He's better than Wilson. Fields might be second, actually.
Lance sucks.
You just said because he's on San Fran.
No, I swear to God.
Lance is very underrated.
I'm happy they took Lance.
What?
Wilson's
I'm happy they took Lance.
Okay. But Lance is
player of the game for the Chicago Bears. This might be a shocker. Cole Kmet.
Against the Rams defense?
Yeah. Their linebackers are poopy. Player of the game, Rams. That's kind of obvious. Ramsey.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Rams are going to be at worst 11 wins. I mean, they're stacked everywhere. I think the Rams are winning the Super Bowl, but that's just me. They're my favorites to win the Super Bowl. They'll beat the Bucs in the NFC Championship, meet the Browns in the Super Bowl, in my opinion. That's just
the
me.
Browns?
Yeah, Browns are more complete than Kansas
Actually,
City.
yeah, I can see that.
That time around, when they come to play Kansas City in the championship round, that time around, not week 1, they will be more prepared. They'll win.
I have respect for you not putting the
My
Bills in the
early
AFC
maybe
Championship.
prediction for the Super Bowl. By the time we get to those predictions, it could change by now. But
I have the Bills or the Ravens in the Super Bowl.
okay, last game. Speaking of the Ravens,
What?
the Baltimore Ravens go on the road to play the Las Vegas Raiders on Monday Night Football. I feel like the Raiders, since they're Arlington, since they moved, I think that's what's called, out to Vegas, they've gotten more Monday Night Football games. I don't know. I just remember the Chargers one, where the Chargers just barely edged them out. Vegas does always start hot. I do have them getting a few upset wins in the next few weeks, but this first week they're not going to win. Baltimore's going to win 27-21. Good game. Raiders defense sucks though. And Baltimore's defense is good. That's the reason. That's the breaker of the game that makes Baltimore win. Baltimore's play of the game is J.K. Dobbins. He rushes for a lot against that Raiders defensive line. Could get 100 yards, maybe. I think he could get 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. Raiders play the game. Darren Waller, he gets 2 touchdowns against his former team, the Ravens, and goes off. So my final prediction for that game is 27-21. Baltimore takes the game.
I see Baltimore winning, but I see it being like a little bit more distant than the Raiders score. I see them being 27-17. Because even though the Raiders start good, as a Dolphins fan, I know the Ravens start week 1 very good. They are like phenomenal. And they are just so talented. I mean, the Ravens just have like a lot more of like a balanced team than the Raiders. And they're just gonna like start off better, in my opinion. So I see Ravens player being like Lamar, of course, because he will run right through that Raiders defense like it's Swiss cheese. I mean, and I'm gonna have like, I don't know, like Derek Carr or something for the Raiders, just because I feel like he's probably one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the league, in my opinion, and he could still put up great numbers against good defenses. So that's what I have.
I think that this, in my opinion, has potential to be one of the most entertaining games, although I don't think it's going to be a close game at all. I have Baltimore winning this game 42-21, a 21-point upset in week 1. Now, I don't think that's completely absurd, but I don't think it's completely unreal. Lamar Jackson has always been so good in week 1. You know, like that Dolphins game, that might have been. That was so great.
The Browns.
But that Vegas defense
36-6
is so bad. Vegas defense is so bad. Lamar is going to have an absolute field day against the Raiders. Lamar is going to run for 3 touchdowns, 150 yards, and 2 passing touchdowns.
Yeah, Lamar's going to he's going to look like one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He's probably going to look like me at recess back in the day, but you know the cameras weren't on. Of course.
Bro, recess football, that was different. And then they told us we couldn't play tackle.
Yeah, so
Lamar, player of the game. Player of the game for the Las Vegas Raiders, I'm taking Jonathan Abrams.
Jonathan Abrams?
Yeah.
He's such a cheap player. I don't like him. Okay, so, I'm a Denver fan. Raiders are my least favorite team. That being said, as much as I hate the Raiders, that's what I do still think they'll keep it close. They're the Raiders. They always find a way to make the most offset matchups close. I think it's a better Monday night game than people say. Sure, it should have been like Cleveland, Kansas City, or something like that. Seattle, Indianapolis, Arizona, Tennessee, Chargers, Washington. But it'll be a good matchup. They do the primetime games for Vegas, and it'll be a good fantasy game. You got J.K. Dobbins. What's the guy's name they drafted? Someone help me out. Rashad Bateman.
Yeah, Bateman.
All right. Mark Andrews, Lamar Jackson. Then you got Darren Waller and Josh Jacobs and Henry Ruggs. So good fantasy matchup. Ravens
Darren
still take
Waller.
that game. I don't think it's a 21-point deficit. But yeah, those are our week 1 predictions and the first official episode of the Intentional Sounding podcast that you can
Keep
find.
watching because we're going to be making much more of these.
Yeah, we'll be doing the rest of the season predictions. Hopefully, they're not as long as this.
I'm here to stay, baby.
Yeah, we love you, Jake.
Jake's on and off, but we'll see. If you guys like Jake, we'll keep him. And then hopefully the other episodes aren't about an hour and a half long. But we talk football. If you ever want to skip through like certain games, we'll leave. We're gonna leave timestamps. This will be on YouTube. We'll leave timestamps in the comments for each game or in the description, whatever. So if you just want to skip to your team's game, or if you want to stick and watch the whole episodes, you can. This is what we'll be doing the next few weeks. We hope you enjoy the podcast. And yeah, I think I already said it'll be on YouTube. Might expand the podcasting websites. Not really a podcast because we're showing our faces and we'll have graphics, more so of a YouTube series, but we'll upload just an audio version too. And yeah, that's the first official episode of Intentional Sounding Podcast. We hope you enjoyed. And hope you come back for next episode, which will be our week 2 predictions. Thanks for listening or watching, and goodbye.
See ya.